T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Welcome to what is likely to be one of the busiest shows that we ever do here on United People's TV. Today is the soft deadline for the bids to go in for Manchester United's new owners, and I will cover the stories about a £5 billion bid going in from Qatari royal, well, linked from Qatari investors with links to the Qatari royal family. I'll cover that. I'll cover the Telegraph saying that a Saudi Arabia bid is expected. Everything about US consortiums, multiple, Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS, and Manchester United, quite literally 3 minutes ago, just announced that there's a new director of football operations at the club. On top of that 2-2 draw against Barcelona last night. And on top of that, by the way, you can see down there that the competition has been launched. And I will be speaking about that this morning. But honestly, I'm trying to get my head around everything that I need to speak about here, because this is going to be an absolutely stacked show. I don't know where to start. I mean, I do know where to start, and I will start in the right place. But this is going to be wild. Make sure, look, you do join in, get involved in the comments, and Gungshi down there straight away, man. Good morning to you. Yesterday, you gifted plenty too, and 10 here today immediately, just to start the show off in the right way, man. The community, look, I'll start with this, right? This is the best giveaway that I've been able to do here on United People's TV. I told you about it earlier this week, and now the competition is live. I'm going to leave the comment down there for you, the link right there for you. I've just posted it on Facebook, just posted it on YouTube. Giving away two Club Wembley level tickets for the Carabao Cup final between United and Newcastle. Legitimately gold dust, those tickets. Legitimately gold dust. Anthony, you're asking if it's UK only. No, it's not UK only. It's open to everybody. But I will say this. You need to prove to me that you can go to the final before you will be chosen. As if you get pulled out of the hat and you're the winner, you need to prove to me that you can go to the game. All right? These won't just be going to anybody. They'll be going to somebody who can go to the games. All you got to do, well, follow that link and there's a form. Simply enter your name, your email, answer a question. That's it. You're entered. It's easy. It's simple. And you as a community have helped make these sorts of giveaways happen. Like Mr. Creed down there, man. You've just gifted 10 as well. Good morning to everyone. Honestly, today's show, one of the most important shows we probably will ever do, with everything to do with the takeover. And I will cover everything from the game last night. We got Leicester on Sunday. Yeah, Gary, you're right down there. It's easily the best prize that I've done. That we've done here on United People's TV. And I hope we can do more like it in the future. But you have helped this community grow to the size that it is, that we can do giveaways like this. All right. So big up to all of you. But that there is to start the show. And if you want, you can follow the link down there. You can follow the QR code or the link that I've just put in the comments. Make sure you enter. Now, literally 2 seconds before, wait, maybe not literally 2 seconds, literally 2 minutes before we went live, Manchester United, out of nowhere, just announced a new director of football operations, which really caught me off guard. David Harrison has been appointed director of football operations to lead all operational aspects of the club's football activities. Joins from Everton. David will report to John Murtough, who's the football director, and be based at Carrington, and will be responsible for ensuring that our football operations run as smoothly and effectively as possible. This will include management of our football operations at Carrington for men's, women's, and academy teams, including football administration, team travel, and player support. The reason this has caught me off guard is we are in the process of a full sale of the club. So I'm kind of surprised that Manchester United are making an appointment like this. I'm surprised that he's taken the job, really, because his job is far from secure. The fact that he's reporting to John Murtough means that this is not a huge appointment. Director of football operations, making sure, I suppose, that the footballing side of things are running properly, rather than being the actual decision maker. Like he's not a Paul Mitchell type role. He's somebody who will help John Murtough in what he's doing. So maybe there were issues behind the scenes. Maybe there were issues that John Murtough needed help with. But still, that caught me by surprise. Literally announced it. Darren, you can look at that. It almost feels a little bit like that. It's a little bit strange for him to take that job, given that there's no guarantee he's going to be here in, well, I don't know how long. Trust me, you want to stick around for this whole show. I've got everything to cover on the game last night and everything about Qatari bids, Saudi bids, US bids. It's all going to be covered in this show. You want to stick around to the end. Gary, let me know where you're watching from down there. And I don't know what's going on down here this morning, but it's absolutely, I'm trying to keep up with it. I really am trying to keep up with it. Vicky, thank you very much this week, Vicky. It's great to have you. Vicky's gifted 10 memberships. Garlic bread, man. I love garlic bread. Who doesn't love garlic bread? Alex, you gifted 10. And Rotham, you gifted 5. I can't even read all these names out. I really genuinely can't. But I will reiterate two more things I'll reiterate at this point. You're helping make competitions like this happen. And you're enabling me to bring people in, to hire people, to make the community even bigger and better. Told you yesterday, I'm in conversations with cameramen about mini documentaries. I'm in conversations with designers to bring on new merch. Big up to all of you this morning, man. Every single one of you. Oh, shit, it's map day as well. I haven't got the map up. My God, this show's going to be absolutely mad. Let's get into the main part of the show and probably the photo of the year. Oh, that's a good point there, actually, before I bring up the photo of the year. Jacob, the competition, right? I'll announce this now. So the competition has gone live today, and the winner will be announced on Tuesday. Okay? The winner will be announced on Tuesday. So you've got a few days to enter. I'll be leaving the link in the descriptions of the videos that I'll do for lunchtime today and for tomorrow after the match reaction on Sunday too. But you got until Tuesday. Well, you got until Monday. The competition will close on Monday. The winner will be announced on Tuesday. All right? And then fucking hell, man. JVD, nice to see you there, dude. And Spence, nice to see you there rejoining as a member and then gifting 5 to another. Man, this honestly, it really is. I swear YouTube have got to do a case study on this. They've really got to do a case study because whatever we're doing, we've done it right. Now let's go back to the photo of the year. I presume that was Erik Ten Hag explaining what the score was. But that game yesterday against Barcelona, man, what a wild ride it was. We all went into the game against Barca, and we knew that. Well, I had Barcelona down as semi-favourites. My prediction was a 1-1 draw, ended up being a 2-2 draw. I'll take the score draw indeed. But the score draw after that performance, after how we played, you might think, shit, we deserved a bit more from that. And I think you'd probably be right. Man United could have and probably should have scored 4 goals in that game. We had clear cuts. Sancho with a big one. Weghorst in the first half with a big one. We had a few more semi opportunities. But we outplayed Barcelona on their home turf for the majority of that game of football. And it was really genuinely amazing to see. And I just want to say a big thank you to Spurs. You remember that? I just wanted to pull up this just to remind any Spurs fans there. They turned down Ten Hag because of his lack of charisma. Honestly, if you were to ask me what I think Ten Hag's best characteristic is, I'd probably say his charisma. The dude carries an aura. He really does he exudes charisma. Man, whoever gave that interview, whoever held that interview at Spurs with Ten Hag, geez, they need sacked. Actually, no, they need to be sent like a Christmas hamper from United fans because they allowed us to get this man. And it was, I think Xavi summed it up after the game. It's something that I felt, but this is coming from Xavi himself, saying it was a really tough game with a lot of intensity, passion, and rhythm. We have to be proud because we competed really well until the end. We could have won with the last 2 chances, but we played today against a top team in Europe. I think Manchester United is coming back, and today they showed their best version. And now we have to compete well in Old Trafford. I think both teams are more or less in the same moment, in the same position. And I said, congratulations to Erik Ten Hag because he is doing very well. And I think that was something that I really felt after the game. Something I will say, actually, you might have seen I put player ratings out last night after the game, sort of testing out new types of content. And I realized, nah, that's not really my sort of content. Giving player ratings in a 90-second format, nah. I don't think it doesn't give you long enough to think about it. So I deleted it all in the morning. I'm just testing new things out. I know there are quite a few negative comments on it, and I think fairly, because it's not my style of content. I'd rather just focus on the big, wider talking points than trying to cram a player ratings into 90 seconds. So I deleted it, and that's exactly why that got deleted. Let me make sure down here I'm not missing any names. Mate, Luke as well. You've gifted 5. Yeah, mate, today it is raining. And I tell you what, we haven't even hit the big part of the show yet. You wait until we start speaking about the absolute, the craziness that is today, which is the soft deadline. But we have to run through this match first. And you know what I reckon? I feel is quite a big difference in the mental. You might say this is, you could say I'm looking into this a little bit too much, right? Marcus Rashford after the game, disappointed to only get a draw. Bruno Fernandes saying disappointing result for what we have done today. And I just personally feel that it's indicative of a different mentality that's just flowing through the club. All of us as fans are feeling it. I wouldn't say a 2-2 draw against Barcelona does not mean United are back. All right. Let's not go crazy. But a 2-2 draw against Europe's most informed team on their own home turf, where they hadn't conceded, they hadn't conceded a goal from open play this season. How mad that stat was. They'd only conceded 7 goals in 21 games. Is it 21 games? 7 goals in the league this season. Until they play against Marcus Rashford. Until they play against Manchester United. And we could have, realistically, we should have won that game yesterday. But we now go back to Old Trafford as favourites, right? Think about this. I was thinking about this morning. We went there to Barcelona without Christian Eriksen, our best and most important playmaker in midfield. We went there without Lisandro Martinez, our best centre-back, in my opinion. We went there without Marcel Sabitzer, who was supposed to be the backup to Eriksen. Fred played well when he played a little bit more aggressive and further up the pitch. But we now go back to Old Trafford. Martinez is going to be back in that team. Sabitzer is going to be available. Gavi is going to be suspended. Pedri is going to be injured. Busquets is already injured. And because of how we've played at Old Trafford this season, the confidence is going to be flying and flowing through these players and the fans. I put us down as favourites next Thursday now. We needed to come away with a result from the Nou Camp that kept us in the tie. We've done that 2-2. All we've got to do now is beat Barcelona at home. Isiaki, you're saying, does an away goal count? Nope, there's no goals. Jonathan, you're going 50-50. Everyone's going to say that. United, in my opinion, United are favourites. All right. Gypsy King, you're saying can't see a link for the tickets. Can somebody else share the link with him? In fact, I'll share it one more time. There you go, right? Anybody else can help and share that link around. But you can follow the QR code on screen here, my friend. That will take you through to the competition. But, mate, this dude, can we speak about it? And, saying I'll jump straight to this. Ten Hag speaking about this. Sorry, one sec. Someone's saying it doesn't work properly. Dude, I know it works. I've literally just clicked it. I've literally just used the QR code. It definitely works. All right. So if you can't get it, follow the link from someone else. I know it works. I've literally just done it. Anyway, Ten Hag said this after the game. I think it's a clear foul on Rashford. You can discuss it. You can discuss if it's in or outside the box, but then it's a red card because he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It's a big influence, not only on this game, but in the round. And referees cannot make such mistakes. And it really is absolutely mad. It's mad that was not given. I have no idea how you can even justify that. And it's kind of pissing me off, really. Just on a game-by-game basis, in domestically and in Europe, we have to talk about referees just making dodgy calls, and that wasn't even a dodgy call. It was such an obvious red card, and I'm just glad that it didn't. Look, maybe it will affect the outcome of the tie. We don't know what's going to be happening in the second leg. But at the vet, mate, yesterday, after we conceded that set piece, and it was frustrating, wasn't it? It was a frustrating set piece. To do that, to equalise within 3 minutes, and a wonderful goal. Fred through to Rashford to equalise within 3 minutes. And then 7 minutes later, Marcus Rashford absolutely skinning. Who was it? Was it Koundé on right back? I can't remember who it was. Skipped past that player, fired it in. Oh, it wasn't Koundé because he was the one who scored the own goal. It was an incredible response from United. Now, it was frustrating. The way we conceded both of those goals, right? Set piece. Second goal was we played it out from the back with the ball. We lost it. They scored. Cross from Rafinha went straight in. I'm happy enough with the result overall. I'm more than happy with the performance. But Xavi said it there. He feels like United are coming back. And it's something that I really feel now. I really, really feel that Man United are coming back. And for me, that's what that game against Barcelona showed. That really we can have that conversation now. That we're allowed to have that conversation. That it isn't too early to have that conversation. Honestly, if anyone's having issues with the competition, please speak to other people in there because there are plenty of people that have managed to do it. So if you can't do it, you're doing it wrong. That's the issue. How impressive was Luke Shaw against Lewandowski, by the way? Luke Shaw and Rafa Varane, I think both of them played very well. And in the second leg, think about this. Luke Shaw is going to go back to his left-back position. Martinez is going to come back and come into his left centre-back position. We're going to be stronger and better in the second leg with the players we've got. Man, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I'm really excited for it. Casemiro, that bit towards the end of the game, you know, when he just bumped off Gavi, just gave him a death stare and then just went for a little chest pump with Rafa Varane. That was, man, I love that bloke. Although I literally said, I love you, Casemiro, on Twitter. And then about 4 seconds later, he gave the ball away. And they scored off the back of it. Something I do want to say here is Weghorst is definitely better as a number 10 than he is as a number 9. All right. He's very, very good with his link-up play. He's very, very good at kind of bringing that team together. However, he's a little bit lacking in terms of the threat as a number 9. And I think I said it on Twitter. Did I put it up here? No, I didn't put it up here. It's going to be a problem for a lot of teams when this Manchester United side get a world-class number 9 in the summer. Right? It really is. If you're looking at the missing pieces inside this team, in my personal opinion, there's 3. 3 obvious ones. Number 1 is a world-class number 9. Number 2 is a Frankie de Jong type player. Somebody who really carries that ball from deep. The progression out from the back. Eriksen is very good. We need another one. And in my opinion, where is he? Is that photo there? No. In my opinion, look, I got this is why I pulled the player ratings down. Because my opinion, David De Gea yesterday, he made quite a few important saves. He did. He did make some important saves. But I also watched pretty much every single goal kick from David De Gea go to Barcelona. And it comes straight back at us. I watched Manchester United play out from the back with the ball 10, 15 times. More than that, maybe. And I'm not really sure at any point that there was any sort of comfort. None of those players look comfortable. Guys, if you really, really can't see it, then fair enough. Like, David De Gea is a fantastic and incredible shot stopper. But we need I think there are elements of David De Gea's natural game which just are not good enough. Jonathan, look, I'm not. You're saying name someone to replace De Gea. Look, I'll look through all of those options in the goodness of time. David Raya at Brentford is somebody who I'm definitely keeping an eye on. But if you can't see it, then you're just blinded by what De Gea has done for Manchester United before, and he's got an incredible record at Manchester United, and he deserves that praise. But please, it's something I always say: what gets you here does not get you there. David De Gea clearly has natural weaknesses in his game that are going to be a problem for Manchester United when we want to play out from the back. We cannot sustainably do that across a 90-minute game when we're playing up against a really pressing team. I'm sorry, but if you don't want to say that, you're saying that because of how good De Gea has been for Manchester United for a long time, rather than saying what you're honestly seeing inside this team. De Gea has to prove that this season, and he's proved it on certain occasions. There against Barcelona, it was a weakness. It was a weakness. Again, Jonathan, I'm just picking your comments up because I think you're raising good points. You see kicking as his weakness. I know that goalkeepers there, Jonathan, I think that doesn't really fairly reflect the importance of goalkeepers in modern style football. Goalkeepers are the first playmaker. Now, goalkeepers just used to stop goals. They don't do that anymore. Or they do, but if they only do that, then it's a weakness of your team. Now, I want to see that De Gea has to improve in that. And I think he's actually been a little bit better than that this year. And dude, if you want to say that, that's fine. But you really are just not saying the whole honest truth that's staring you in the face. And I suppose that sort of emotional connection to players is what, as fans, we love. We want that emotional connection to players. But you think Ten Hag's not thinking about this already? Okie dokie. That's fair enough. Let's see what happens over the next year, all right? I'm not saying this is any sort of agenda against De Gea, by the way. He's an incredible, incredible goalkeeper. Has been for a long time at Manchester United. We owe him so much. We would have fallen so much more if he wasn't here. Let's see what happens in the future, all right? Seven Samurai, you've gifted 5 memberships. Dude, what a dude. But look, let's go into the main part of the show, the reason that all of you are here. And let's speak about what we've got coming up. Because Manchester United last night, look at that spike in the share price. I believe that is the highest price that Manchester United have been on the New York Stock Exchange since 2012, which I think is when we actually went on the New York Stock Exchange. A huge spike in the price because everybody now knows what is coming today. I'm sure there are lots of you that are watching this game here that aren't subscribed to United People's TV. I'd love to have you on board here. We're going through, honestly, I wouldn't say it's unprecedented. Manchester United have been sold before. We're going through a historic period for the football club. I'd love to have you as part of the community as I try and cover it all. But let me do it now. Let me run through all the story. You remember full well that this was what we heard, well, only 8 days ago from the Times. Matt Lawton reporting that at least 5 bidders were going to come in and they were ready to meet that £5 billion price for Manchester United. Now, we know full well that the Glazers really are just going to sell to the highest bidder. We know that. We didn't know whether any bids that would come in would match what their expectations would be. Now, let me run through all of this. I apologize to everyone here. I'm going to close the comments for a couple of minutes. Well, not close the comments. I'm just not going to look at them because there really is so much important stuff that I've got to run through here. And I don't want to get distracted by people saying I'm shouting nonsense because sometimes I do get distracted. Let's go. This is coming from Bloomberg. This is coming from the same, I think I covered Bloomberg's story on this 2 days ago. They're saying that Qatari Royals are planning a £5 billion opening bid for Manchester United. Now, let's read the story because I subscribe to these, so you don't have to. Don't say I don't treat you well. Qatari investors are readying a roughly £5 billion opening bid for Manchester United. People with knowledge of the matter said, ahead of what's expected to be a fierce bidding war for the English football giant. Now, we have been waiting for identities of people who were involved in this situation, and now we've got one. A consortium including Hamad bin Jassim bin Jaber Al Thani, that's a big name, the country's former prime minister and ex-head of the QIA, is putting the final touches on a proposal to buy the club. Deliberations are ongoing and no final decisions or the size of the timing or any proposal have been taken according to the people, but we know full well today we've got a deadline until 10 p.m. Now, that's the soft deadline. If you don't know what the soft deadline is, that's effectively, it's Rain Group have just put a random date, said, okay, 17th of February. The actual deadline they're aiming for is a sale by the end of Q1. That's the end of March. This soft deadline is to encourage bidders to come forward, to slap it on the table and say, right, we're interested. These are our offers. It's their way of making sure that this process continues and doesn't just stagnate and stall. There's a couple of members there. Sue, nice to see you joining as a member. And Jeremy, nice to see you joining as a member as well, my friend. Make sure I don't miss any gifts. I think, geez, I missed 5 more. Man, Jordan. Dons. Man, all day. Woo. Right, let's continue reading the news. Bloomberg reported this week about that bid from Qatar, but this is the first time that we've had a name associated with any bid from Qatar, and this is the first time that we have seen a price. Now, you'll remember that I did the interview with Ben Jacobs. Was it yesterday? A couple of days ago? I've already spoken with Ben, and he's ready to come on and have another conversation with me, another interview after today, or on the back of this afternoon, once these identities have really come forward. We're going to be speaking there about Hamad bin Jassim. We're going to be speaking about anybody linked there. We're going to speak about when the Saudi bid comes forward and who they are. I'm going to do an interview with Ben so you can learn a bit more about all of those. And again, that's why I'm telling you to subscribe, because I've got some seriously good content coming out. But on top of Qatar, right? On top of a bid coming from Qatar, you'll remember that I said this on the 8th of Feb. I said, look, if a bid does come in this week for United from Qatari investors, I would absolutely expect a bid from private Saudi investors. And then we see this last night from Tom Morgan and Sam Wallace, both in the Telegraph, saying that Saudi Arabia are poised to also make a Manchester United takeover offer. Let's read through this story together. Saudi Arabia has joined the race to buy Manchester United, and bids have already been tabled by other potential investors ahead of Friday's bid deadline. Multiple private groups in Riyadh have made formal inquiries and look set to battle Qatar and Sir Jim Ratcliffe in what could be the biggest deal in sporting history. Detailed offers have already been received by the Glazers, but the family is keeping its options open as outright takeover offers are received on Friday evening. As it stands, an outright sale is most likely in line with hopes to complete a deal by the end of April. So on top of conversations around a Qatari ownership, Saudi Arabia, in the same in the exact same fashion. That's why I said if private Qatari investors are coming in, they've obviously QSI own PSG, so technically Qatar own PSG. If Qatar are confident they can get Qatari investors to shape a bid for United, then I imagine that Saudi Arabia would do the same. And that is exactly what is going to happen here. We don't have any sort of identities or any names or any links here. But I think there's just under 12 hours left in this soft deadline. It's not like a transfer deadline. It's the Rain Group basically just kind of forcing the issue, I suppose, making sure that it becomes public. By the end of today, we will know the identities. But Saudi Arabian private investors, they are going to come forward to also put in a bid for Manchester United. Vicky, you just gifted another 5 memberships. Legend. Thank you very much, Vicky. A comment there from a member saying, thank you for making our mornings better. Well, that could stay in bed. Probably would be better if I wasn't here. But Qatari private investors, they're going to be coming forward with a 5 billion bid for Manchester United, according to Bloomberg. That's the only place we've seen that a number sort of associated with the bid yet. I spoke to Ben yesterday, and he was surprised that those numbers have come out. He's saying, well, how... He was surprised because if you watch the interview, he was expecting the original bids to probably be in the region of 3.5 to 4 billion rather than 5 billion. And if Qatar do come with a big bid like that, talk about showing how serious you are. Now let's go over to Mike Keegan and see what Mike Keegan has said, because you remember that Mike Keegan, he was the one who led with the Qatari bid out of nowhere. We all spoke about the idea of minority Qatari ownership. He was the one who said, no, they're looking at full ownership. And the story has developed since then. This is what he said. Manchester United could be in new hands within 6 weeks, with Qatari investors set to formally bid on Friday's deadline day. And they feel their offer will be stronger than those coming from Saudi Arabia, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and the US. Friday marks that soft deadline. Qatari investors are set to make an offer which they feel will be the strongest. And a takeover could be completed by the end of March. Let me see what he's saying. As this newspaper revealed, a group of Qatari investors are to make an offer which they feel will be the strongest. It can now be revealed that their bid will be made on the deadline day. They're actually using the word deadline day. While the aim is to ensure that the process is completed by the summer transfer window, it is understood that based on the interest shown, United could have new owners by the end of next month. That feels a little bit premature. I can't, well, no, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong because, of course, that's the end of Q1. That's what we've been aiming for. That's what we've always heard they've been aiming for. It's mad. Let's read more of it. The Qataris are expected to face opposition from 4 other groups, with interest coming from the US, Asia, and Britain's richest man, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Groups from Saudi have been given access to the data room, which allowed them to pore over United's financials in exchange for signing that NDA. It remains to be seen if those groups will make their move. Well, according to the Telegraph, they will indeed make that move. So, at this point in time, we are looking at Qatari investors coming in today with a 5 billion bid to buy Manchester United. Saudi Arabia are going to come in, and you would have to imagine they're probably just going to match anything. Maybe Saudi Arabia will wait for that Qatari bid to come in and just come over the top of them. They could do that. This is the perfect fucking situation for the Glazers, man. The Glazers are sitting there rubbing their filthy hands together because there is a bidding war incoming. All right. Qatari investors, they want to buy Manchester United. Saudi Arabian private investors, they want to buy Manchester United. INEOS, they want to buy Manchester United. At this time, we don't have a number associated with what that INEOS bid could be. We're seeing reports in the region of 4 billion with incentives. These are all just a little bit random reports. Okay, there's no sort of clarity to those. The only real number that we've got any sort of maybe confidence in saying is what Bloomberg are saying here in Qatar. But that's the next conversation point we're having. Whoops. INEOS, I think, will struggle in the face of this level of competition from Qatar and Saudi Arabia. And we haven't even had a conversation about US consortiums. Now, I've always anticipated on a Harrison Blitzer coming forward. Remember Harrison Blitzer? They got to the final stage, the final 4 to buy Chelsea. And it went to Todd Bowley. I imagine Harrison Blitzer will come forward. I also imagine there's probably going to be a couple of US consortiums. At this moment in time, we're in the dark about. I imagine across the course of the day, I'm probably going to be back here live again. This story will develop rapidly. So I'm going to have to go live and speak about it because it won't be something that I can cover in one of my shorter, more informed videos. So make sure you do it. I'm sure I don't know how many people are watching now. How many people have we got? Look at that, man. We've got 3,000 of you watching. great to have you on board, man. I love the growth of the community. Please, would you consider subscribing? Because today is going to be a big day. I'm going to try and cover it as much as I possibly can. 7, you're saying, look, considering the valuation of the stock market, 5 billion should be more than anyone. Look, I think you agree. I agree. I think everybody will agree that in the grand scheme of things, right now, 5 billion is probably an overvaluation. But the reality is that this is pretty much a once in a generation opportunity. Manchester United have not been up for sale for nigh on 20 years. This will only happen once. There will only be a new stadium built once. There will only be new training. I'll probably lie on the training ground. They're probably going to get rebuilt in 10, 15 years like it always should. This right here, it really is a golden ticket. In a league which is just money's taken over. And the Premier League has allowed this to happen. All right? We will continue to do, and we'll have conversations and we'll scrutinize every single potential owner as to who is the right and the wrong owner. But the Premier League has allowed this to happen. They allowed Chelsea and Abramovich to happen. They allowed City and Abu Dhabi to happen. And all the other foreign owners who have come in and bought Premier League clubs. It's the way football has gone. I don't like it. You don't like it. It is the way that football has gone, though. But I will speak about new owners and choices in a little bit. I'm going to go down here and try and read a few of your comments out. Gear, what you're saying? Shout out to Veghorst. His workhorse. Look, man, I really enjoy watching him in the number 10 role. He does it well. He links up. He's a good team player. Obviously, we need a pure number 9 in the summer. But he's coming into this team and doing a job where we really need him to do one, because Martial is an absolute ghost. He may as well not be a player for us anymore. Alex, you're saying this. Thanks for the super chat, sir. You're saying, I love the idea of new owners having the money to get the club back to where we want to be, but I'm worried that we don't have the people in the club to make that happen quickly. No, we don't. We don't at all, Alex. When it comes to new owners, we're talking about an overhaul of pretty much every element of the club. We need a new footballing structure. A proper best in class. This is where that Gary Neville comment, the best in class, is exactly what we need. We do need a Paul Mitchell type person to take over and help with the transfers. I'm sure that John Murtough's probably done quite a good bit of work behind the scenes, but there's still disconnects. There's still problems. Our academy and how that's improved over the last 5, 6, 7 years, probably one of the biggest success stories we've had at United, but there's so much more that needs to improve for us to get anywhere near the modern clubs around us. And that's not even talking about facilities, infrastructure, investment in local areas. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to go and read a few of your comments out down here. SS, look, I know you're not the only one, and you're not the only United fan that feels like this. And I'm going to be bringing up a couple of polls from The Athletic where we discuss this in a second. And M, again, I know there's a lot of United fans in that category. And I think that's where the comparisons to Newcastle are fair. Because at the point when Saudi Arabia came in, so many Newcastle fans were just like, as long as it's not Mike Ashley, I don't care. And I imagine there's quite a few United fans that fall in that category. I do care. And I think if anybody saw that video that I did with Nicholas McGeehan, by the way. So you've seen this, right? You've seen that UEFA has been urged to block any Qatari takeover. Have you seen the company that's leading this? That would be, where is it? I'll show you down here. Fair Square. You'll remember who Nicholas McGeehan works with. He works with Fair Square. I've already spoken to somebody from the human rights perspective from Dubai, and I will speak to Nicholas again when it comes to Qatar. I definitely cover every single angle. I'm not just coming in here saying, oil money, bring it in. Oh, yeah, baby. Because that's not the right thing to do. But I think the right thing to do, the responsible thing for me to do on this whole situation is try and keep my opinion out of it as much as I possibly can. And present all of the facts to you from all the different angles. I don't just want to push what I want on you. That's what I think. Christian, already covered that at the very start of the video. David Harrison, as I said, this is a serious news day. And I want to go over here and pull up these because I found these quite interesting. These are polls that were released by The Athletic. They said that they received thousands of responses from United fans, and they were asked a few questions. And I want to pull these up on screen so we can chat about them. This was the first one. Of those linked to buy Manchester United, who would you prefer to take charge? And Jim Ratcliffe, there you can see at the top, run away with 66% of the vote. And I know I'm going to massively undermine myself here. Not undermine. I'm going to be a hypocrite. You know full well that I've always preferred the idea of Jim Ratcliffe. Well, I remember covering it at the very, very start. That interview he did, I think it was with the Financial Times in a Q&A in London, when he mentioned about the fact that he would buy Manchester United. And I was buzzing. I was like, this is the dream. This is the dream. And it is the dream. The idea of having a man who was born 10 miles from Old Trafford, grew up a Manchester United fan, became Britain's richest man, and now wants to buy the club. I called it the Disney owner, and I still stand by the Disney owner. But you know what about a lot of Disney films? Well, they're Disney films, first of all. Second of all, a lot of them are unrealistic. that was the worst analogy ever. But I don't know whether the idea of INEOS is based 100% in reality. Given the numbers involved, given the competition around, given what Manchester United need, and the scale of investment required. And that's just me being truthful. Because who would I prefer to take charge? I think I'd be in that 66%. I would prefer Jim Ratcliffe to take over. It's just there's quite a big part of me that thinks, you know what, Sam? It's probably not going to happen. It's probably not realistic. Mr. Creed saying, look, imagine the Rats sell United and buy it, mate. I've thought about that for quite a little bit myself. I'm going to go down here and see what you're saying. V. Krober saying Jim would be the worst option. Why would it be the worst option? And Joris, this is the thing. As soon as I saw Jim Ratcliffe and Goldman Sachs, and I heard about debt refinancing, it's an immediate fucking red flag for me. Immediate red flag. And people are going to have their questions about his ownership in these. I've already covered them in a separate video. But, and I've said this a million times, and I will say this: like today is the day, is a massive day for United. We're really going to find out who wants to buy us. We know that Qatar and Saudi Arabia. We know full well that they're coming forward, and INEOS and US consortiums. You go down there, Josh. I know how vocal you are on this. I see you in the comments at least 5, 6, 7 times every show now. Debt refinancing, I've told you my own personal opinion on that. Debt refinancing, yes, 800 million loan from Goldman Sachs. Yes, Manchester United's loan is paid off. Brilliant. There's no loan left. However, INEOS, our new owners, now have an £800 million loan on their books, which they are liable for, which is directly associated to the ownership of Manchester United. The only reason that £800 million loan exists is because you bought Manchester United. So if the markets crash, and good luck predicting anything. Last few years, what's happened? COVID, yeah. Anyone predicted that? If the markets crash and the interest rates skyrocket on that, you're telling me that wouldn't affect decision-making at Manchester United? I think you're lying to yourself. I think you know full well that would have an indirect effect on Manchester United. It would. What we do? Oh, Andrew Tomlinson. You're always a happy chappy, aren't you? How you doing, buddy? I get accused of nonsense quite a lot here. This, there's none of this at all, man. Some people do say, like, if you want to use the word nonsense, you can use the word nonsense there. It's like, fucking hell. Right. I'll tell you what, the second poll that Athletic did is this, which I also found very interesting. because we spoke about this, didn't we? We spoke about this yesterday. Or was it yesterday, day before? I said, what's the single most important thing for you when it comes to new owners? And I personally said it was making sure Manchester United are debt-free. 34% of United fans chose sporting achievements as number one. 33% chose wiping out the debt. 21% chose stadium and training ground upgrades. And you can see down there, 5% chose fan engagement. 5% chose transfer spending. And 2% chose investment in the local area. So it's a bit of a split between sporting achievements and wiping out the debt. In my opinion, if you wipe out the debt, the sporting achievements will follow. I think I personally see them as being linked with each other. Again, no. The debt has been the fucking issue. If the debt wasn't there, Manchester United would have had in excess of 1.5 billion more that we could have spent in the last 17 years. That's a brand new fucking stadium. The debt has been the issue. Having interest repayments hanging over our club has been the issue, is the issue. And will always be the issue in my personal mind until that debt is cleared. Again, that is a personal opinion. I appreciate that. And again, I'm being a hypocrite there because I'm saying, no, I'll try and keep my opinion out of it. But Manchester United have got revenues of nearly 700 million euros per year. We don't necessarily need we don't need a sugar daddy in the way that Championship level City needed when Abu Dhabi came in the same way that Chelsea needed someone to come in and just absolutely dump cash into them to get them competing at the very top. We need someone, and this is the issue. And this is the issue with new owners, and this is the issue when it comes to looking at Qatari, or what? We're going to have to have a conversation about Saudi Arabia or anything like that now. The big issue here that we've got is the level of initial investment required. That's the big thing. Because whoever comes in, we're looking at somewhere in the region of £1 to £2 billion worth of investment that's needed right at the beginning. That's the problem. And you know what's caused that? The Glazers owning our club for 17 years and fucking ignoring it all. Siphoning money out of the club. Paying back the debt. Paying back the interest. 17 years of that have created this situation where Manchester United now need between £1 and £2 billion worth to make up that shortfall that they've left. That's the consequence of the Glazers' ownership. That's the situation we are in. And that is why there are very few people that can afford us, that can afford to put that much money down straight away. It's different level. And that will probably be one of my concerns about INEOS or anybody, really. Oh, well, there's not really... When it comes to Qatari, when it comes to Saudi, when it comes to any money that they've got, I mean, that's just stupid, isn't it? It's wild. But to try and say that the debt isn't the issue, it's how you manage it. Come on. That's one of the most wild comments I've ever had down here on United People's TV. The only reason we need to spend this much right now is because we've not been spending it for 20 years. And you know how we would have done that? If we didn't have fucking debt that we were paying off every single year. There's a super chat there from somebody. Obviously, this is a very passionate subject for me, and it's a passionate subject for you. We are talking about the future of Manchester United. And you can't ignore the fact that we as a football club, as fans, have been arguing against state ownership and the pitfalls of it for what, 15 years now. And now we're staring in the face. It's not a position that any United fan ever really expected to be in. Now, there's a comment here from Phil. I'm going to read this out. You're saying you're okay with Qatar. You're saying if you can't beat them, join them. I think last night was a green light for all bidders. Qatar equals a great investment in United and no debt. It's not great, but football has changed. I'm not saying I think who is it that's somebody DM me on Telegram saying that I suggest if you can't beat them, join them. I'm not saying if you can't beat them, join them. What I am saying is this. Football has changed. I don't think it's changed for the better. But the truth staring you in the face is that football has changed. If the Super League had happened, the Glazers would never have left our club. But because of the ownership of Chelsea, of City, of PSG, and other big foreign ownership investments, football has changed. And the amount required to compete at the very top is not what it was 5-10 years ago. Add on to that the fact that we've been owned by the Glazers for nigh on 20 years, and that lack of investment in infrastructure has, I wouldn't say it's crippled us, but it's been a straitjacket. That's the position we are in. Still, we're making great commercial revenue. It's stagnated, yes. I'm not sure it's actually gone up that much since like 2016, 17. But it's still nearly 700 million euros. So from a transfer, from a year-on-year transfer perspective, Manchester United in itself can be quite sustainable. We make enough money. We've got a lot of money. We can spend a lot of our own money in that sense. We don't need somebody to come in, whether that Qatar, whether that was Saudi, we don't need them to come in and just give us huge coffers for transfer fees. We've got a lot of that money already ourselves. But I reiterate the issue that we have. We need between 1 and 2 billion straight up to bring everything else up to the standards of modern day football. And we have fallen so far behind in that sense. Ash, you're saying the only one thing we can all agree on is an exciting time to be a United fan. If we get Saudi or Qatari owners, it's over for the rest. It is a very, very exciting time to be a United fan. We've been in the shadows and in the mud for a long time. It's weird. I was speaking about this with the lads from the podcast earlier today. I started covering United full time in the Moyes year. That was the year I got my first season ticket. And that was when I started the People's Person website. Ever since then, it's not exactly been the best of 10 years, is it? We've had our moments. We've had ups and downs, but largely it's just been watching and reporting on Manchester United in an absolute freefall. That all feels different under this man. I love that photo. That all feels different. That all feels different under Ten Hag. On the pitch, we are seeing Manchester United really going in the right direction, really going forward, and it's incredible. It is so exciting to see how good Manchester United are doing on the pitch. And now off the pitch, we are sitting here and we are about to witness Manchester United as a football club be sold. The Glazers are going to leave our club. We're going to have new owners. Who those new owners are, we can't say with confidence at this point in time. We know today, Qatari bid, apparently around about 5 billion is going to be going through. Saudi Arabia are going to come in, and why wouldn't they match that? Then the money's not exactly an issue for them. We know full well that INEOS is going to come through. We know full well that there are going to be US consortiums coming through as well. Who's the right owner for Manchester United? That really is a personal opinion. Okay, what I say in that sense is irrelevant. All of you are going to have your own personal opinions on whether Qatari ownership would be good for Manchester United or not, or Saudi, or US consortiums. I think the only thing that the only thing we all agree on here is that none of us want US consortiums to come in. I think that's the one thing we all agree on. After the 17 years, after what? Is it 17 years? I think it's 17 years. 18 years. 17, 18 years of the Glazers. That's the only position where we are not prepared to go into, if you know what I mean. The idea of going towards a US consortium, an investment consortium, trying to make... Fuck that. Right? So that's the one thing that we can all agree on. Isn't that weird? Is it weird? I suppose it's not weird. That really is the one thing that all United fans, I imagine, are just united on. No to anything to do with the USA. And you can't rule that out, by the way, because it's the Rain Group leading this. The Glazers are Americans. There might be friends over there that come forward and maybe give them some under the tables. You can't rule it out. You genuinely cannot rule that out. And that scares me. That really does scare me. But in the same way that I covered the Dubai rumors at the very beginning of this and I scrutinized it, I'm going to be scrutinizing anything to do with the Qatari bid, and I will be scrutinizing anything to do with the Saudi bid. That content will be coming out over the next week or two as this progresses. This week wasn't the right time for me to do that sort of scrutiny, I suppose, because all the news is breaking. It's developing right now. Once it's all come forward, then I will go back and I will have those conversations. As I said, we've got here that UEFA being urged to block any Qatari takeover, and that's fair, square. I've spoken to Nicholas McGeehan about Dubai already. I'll speak to Nicholas McGeehan about Qatar. It's not going to be a positive conversation for anybody that wants Qatari ownership, but I won't bury my head in the sand just because I can see the positives of maybe what Qatari ownership could do to our club and ignore everything else. I won't. Mate, David, you're right down there. Shit, it's like 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning now. It is mad. There's a couple of super chats here. I don't want to miss these out. Or what you doing? What you said? Well, fucking hell, dude. What a ledge. You're saying if we were bought over by Sir Jim and the correct people were put in place within the club, we could realistically be at the top again. Yes, it might take a little longer, but my moral compass will be at ease. Now, I know you're not alone there, Raw. And that is exactly why, in the same, look, as I said, I've covered Dubai and I've scrutinized it. I've covered Jim Ratcliffe and I've scrutinized his ownership in Nice. I will be diving into the Qatari human rights issues and the same thing that exist with Saudi Arabia and any questions that we have to look. We keep saying that why don't the Premier League do the fit and what is it, fit ownership test model? Fuck. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, we have to apply that as fans. That's why I'm going to be doing this content in the next couple of weeks. Sorry, I'm losing my words now. Phil, you're saying 1 billion taken out, no investment is tantamount to theft. I was an original Phoenix Fund member. I'm so happy they're finally going. So happy I have Casemiro on my headphones. That video there was one of the best things I've done. I love that one. Mate, getting rid of the Glazers. You're damn right there's going to be champagne popped when that happens. But I won't just be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire and not scrutinizing who our new owners are. That would just be irresponsible. Even if I can see the positives of Qatari ownership and what that would do to Manchester United, what that would do to our stadium, and probably the surrounding areas of Manchester, in the same way that I can look at Abu Dhabi and City and I can see the benefits there. Seven Samurai, you're saying regardless of who buys the club, in my opinion, there are a few essential points: invest in Old Trafford, Carrington, the youth players, solid directors, and backing the manager. And dude, we're going to be doing that next week. We're going to be doing the video on, I suppose, our, not manifesto, but our list. You know, in the same way that this list here about what the most important factors are for whoever the new owners of Manchester United are, I'm going to do my own list in terms of what we want to see debt-free. We want to see the debt paid off. We want to see a new stadium built. We want to see a new Carrington built. We want to see lots and lots of things. And we're going to try and list them. There's one more super chat there. Anthony, you're saying football club ownership is a billionaire's game today. There's no way around it. All of them have skeletons in their closet, and Qatar's the best option. The first part of your sentence is the ultimate truth. Football club ownership now is it's a billionaire's playground. Football has allowed, the Premier League has allowed this to manifest. Fit and proper, that's what it is. Fit and proper owners test. Thank you very much. The Premier League has allowed this to manifest. Saudi Arabia, they bought Newcastle. Forgot about those earlier. City were bought by Abu Dhabi. Abramovich and Chelsea until he got absolutely, well, good. It's mad what we've got coming up. But I can't help but be fucking excited about the fact that the Glazers are selling this club. And I think that there wasn't, I think there still is, right? Until the Glazers are gone, I will always be scared about the fact that they might hold on. But if the money, the bids that we're talking about here, 5 billion is an opening bid, I don't think the Glazers hold on. I think the Glazers cash in, man. I think there's some more gifted memberships down here, man. Seven Samurai, to everybody today who's gifted a membership, all of you are legends. To everybody who's watching, there are so many watching right now. I'd love to have you join the community. To anybody who has just joined in, right? This link down there, you can see it down there. Because of you and because of all your generosity, the community is growing. And we can give away 2 tickets to the Carabao Cup final. Club Wembley level tickets. Absolute gold dust tickets. All you got to do is fill the form out, add your email, answer a question. Simple as that. And the link I've just passed to you. And if you want, you can use the QR code on the screen here. It really, really is an absolute scorcher of a giveaway. I apologize for today, ladies and gents. I'm not going to do the map today. It's too important a show just to slap a map on the end of it. Although I'm kind of, Jesus, man. Alex, you've gifted 5. Tom Van Venrouge. You've gifted 5 as well. I'm sorry if I just annihilated your name. All of you. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Phoenix Fun was started after. Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. FC United. Thanks very much, Rick. I didn't actually know about that. What a show. Strap yourselves in. Like, this is just getting started. I imagine I'll probably be here live at some point later today. All right. Because I imagine this is going to develop. We're going to get real confirmation about the bids from Qatar, from Saudi, from everywhere else. Not really sure what to do in my lunchtime video. I'll try and cover it. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I know it's a difficult conversation. There is. And I promise you, in the same way I scrutinize Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS and Dubai, I will scrutinize Qatar and any Qatari takeover and Saudi and any Saudi potential takeover. Because if the Premier League won't do fit and proper owners tests, shit, we'll do it as a community because we have to. We've got a responsibility to do that. Even if we can see the positives of it all, you have to look at the full picture. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, every single person who sent in a super chat and sent in gifted memberships. You're helping take this community upwards. Make sure you enter the competition. That's open until Monday, right? So on the Monday stream, that will still be on here. And if you haven't done it, you can always do it on Monday. But then it closes on Monday. And the winner's going to get announced on Tuesday. But have a cracking weekend, everyone. I'll be here with a lunchtime video. My starting 11 for Leicester out tomorrow. And the game on Sunday. Fucking games every 3 days still. And all this.